Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Love me some Prize Picks. The newest sponsor here at Chat Sports, prizepicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS. They will match your deposit match up to $100. And if you want to spice up your NFL Sunday, get started with Prize Picks right now. Prize Picks is a skill-based, real money, daily fantasy sports game. And if you're looking to have more fun on game day, look no further than Prize Picks. Want to play alongside some of Prize Picks' favorite players like rapper Meek Mill and comedian Andrew Schultz? You can now find community plays under the promos tab in the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in the Prize Picks community each week. Prize Picks even offers a reboot policy so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players get injured. For football, basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second half, the player is rebooted. Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. The three players that I got for this weekend for the NFL, I got Bryce Young getting more than 210.5, CJ Stroud getting more than 239.5, and Josh Allen get more than 263.5. So get started right now with Prize Picks. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS, for deposit match up to $100. Why is it code CLNS? Because that's our ad agency partner. Use code CLNS. It's real easy. 4 letters to get $100 match when you sign up. So download the app today, and the link will be in the description and comment section of this video. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS. We are here for the One Pride Podcast, talk all things Detroit Lions news and rumors, and we got a show for you today. We're obviously going to be talking about the Lions versus the Vegas Raiders, big Monday matchup. A little information on injury report because Dan Campbell spoke to the media for about 10 minutes, and it's something we all expected there. That's David Montgomery did not practice today. Wow, big shocker. But it's not just me here today. We got Ant-Man in the building. What's going on, Ant-Man?
Hey, Mike. Hope you're doing well. I'm just looking forward to getting this taste of the Ravens game out my mouth and smacking the Raiders around, so bring it on.
Bring it on like Donkey Kong, and that's for sure. We got Antonio Jenkins, Sil Mack, John, CS Sports, Robert, Vash, Steve Adams, 9 Drinks, Sauce, Kyle, Southern California, Michael, Brave, Vash, Derek, all in the building. We appreciate you coming in here to talk and listen to some Lions football. Let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens game really quick. That was a bad game. Okay, we've moved on. Now let's go ahead and talk about the Raiders game. See, I didn't really want to talk about it. I'm not going to lie. I don't really want to talk about it. I don't think anybody you guys want to rehash. I got the butt whoop. Lions and Raiders. Ant-Man, what do you think is going to happen on Monday Night Football?
I think the Raiders are going to wish that they weren't playing us after this. I mean, this team, generally, what I've found is when it gets its ass handed to them, it's a lesson quickly learned, and they'll come back out the next week, and they'll put to bed what happened there. Obviously, with the Carolina game last year, we saw the reaction against the Packers in the most extreme of circumstances with nothing to play for. They came out and absolutely whooped them. You know, we saw a reaction after the Seattle game this year. I think this is just how this team learns. It takes big lumps, it learns big lessons at once, and then it comes back out and puts them right. So I think Monday Night Football, under the lights, the pressure's truly on. I do believe this team is going to come out and really have a go at them and really put the hurting down on them.
Dan Campbell expects Jimmy Garoppolo to play. We still don't know if he's actually going to play. They always prepare for the starters. But Jimmy Garoppolo's not having a great year. He's got 8 interceptions to 7 touchdowns. O'Connell, their rookie quarterback, hasn't really done anything, and their backup quarterback, who's 70 years old, is not doing anything. Their offense is not that good, and I'm trying to be nice here when I say not that good. Points per game, they're 30th in the NFL. Total yards per game, 27th in the NFL. Passing yard per game, 18th in the NFL. Rushing yards per game, 32nd in the NFL. Turnovers, 32nd in the NFL. They're one of the worst teams in all of football. And I know they got 3 wins, and you look at other teams like the Panthers or the Bears. I don't know, man. If the Raiders were to go against the Bears right now, I think we've seen it. They won last week. I think if the Raiders went against the Panthers, Maybe Panthers get their first win. They're not doing good. I talked to Mitchell Rentz. Their fans are upset. They want Josh McDaniels fired. I think the Lions going to come into this game, and it's going to be one of those games that there's a tsunami, and it absolutely destroys everything. I think the Lions are going to do a gigantic win on Monday Night Football. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I do as well. And, I hope that they get back to their roots in this one because, for the first time, I think this year everyone's playing us and everyone's going, oh, it's Detroit. We're gonna play against them the way we play football and we'll be good enough to beat them. The Ravens truly felt like the first team who thought, hang on, this is actually a really good team. We need to scheme for them properly. And it felt like they did an absolutely fantastic job on us. And we weren't ready for that. We just are used to playing our brand of football and no one really giving a damn about it. So I'd expect that to change now. Now someone has really schemed up and they've found a way to stop us from scoring points. They've found our weak point. I expect our coaching now to respond and to get better because I don't think Ben Johnson he didn't have any answers last week, again, because of the job they did on us. I think on defense, it's hard. They schemed well. And do what your defense is good at. This week with Aaron Glenn, and, he's been really good this year. Don't be respectful. Don't be too respectful of an opposition offense. Do what your defense is good at. We are good at stopping the run, and then we're good at getting pressure on the quarterback and forcing him into mistakes. We're not getting a lot of sacks. We're not getting a ton of productivity at the end, but it's causing opportunities for the secondary to get picks, for the linebackers to get picks, for us to make game-changing plays. And we just sat back. We sat back and respected them, and that's not what we're good at. We're not good at sitting in coverage with the linebackers. We're not good at giving these 20-yard cushions for wide receivers and playing soft, hoping that the quarterback's going to struggle. So it's for me, it's all on coaching this week. As much as the players, the coaches have got to come out and show, look, we got our ass handed to us in the last one, as much as the players did. But, with Vegas, you've got a perfect opportunity, the way they play. You've got a static quarterback who is, like you said, he struggled. All the teams in that conference, the Chiefs, the Broncos, yeah, I've forgotten now. But the Chargers all got good pass rushers. All have made him suffer. All put a lot of pressure on. We can do that. We're good at that. Be aggressive.
Yeah, for sure, man. Look, the Detroit Lions, I think they're going to be very aggressive in this game. I think you're going to see them do something that we haven't seen in a while because they got embarrassed in Baltimore, and they're the better team here, folks. They are the better football team. Lions offense is better. The Lions defense is better, even though we still got Will Harris. The team is just overall better, and it's at home. I love seeing it. So people keep saying Chase Young to the Lions, breaking Lions land Young. I don't know what's going on here. If this is real, probably not. Probably not real. So a lot of people want to talk about the trade deadline. So let's talk about it. What is one player you want to get?
I would rather Montez Sweat come from Washington. And why? Because, one, I'm looking for consistency. He has 5 seasons in the league now, 4 of them 7 sacks or more. He's at 7 this year already, and we're not even halfway through the season. So consistently getting pressure, consistently getting production. He's consistently healthy, which Chase Young is not and has not shown so far. And we need that because our edge rusher room has been decimated by injuries like Houston, Harris, Aquara, all decimated by injuries. We need someone who is robust in the league and can stay healthy. And he's an elite run defender. He's literally elite grades nearly every year he's been in the league against the run, which is also another problem of ours, sealing the edge sometimes. So, and I think he'll cost a little bit less than Chase Young will. We invested a second overall pick in Aidan Hutchinson to be the guy, the 10, 15, 20 sack a year guy. He needs to be that guy, and you need to back him up with somebody who can also get the 8, 9, 10 sacks a year repeatedly and can be a good number 2 whilst you have backup behind them. So I think for the value you're getting and the player you're getting, I would rather it be Montez Sweat come here.
Look, I would like to have Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Danielle Hunter. I'd love to get a pass rusher. Are they going to do anything like this? I feel like they're not. I'm hearing mixed bags from everybody, from people saying the Lions are aggressive to the Lions aren't really aggressive. We have no idea what they're going to do, but I'm with you. I would love to get a pass rusher. I think it's really important that we have somebody opposite of Aidan Hutchinson. And to have the ability for Aidan to be opened up a little bit more. Man, it's just him. It feels like the Lions' defensive line is kind of like the Raiders, where you just got one guy and everybody else. And we need to have another player, okay? And it's not just, well, we are beating the NFC North. Okay, but look what the Philadelphia Eagles and San Francisco 49ers are. They're really good teams, even though San Francisco's, they lost. You still need another pass rusher. And if you can get one for the right price, they should do it. I'm not saying get one at all means necessary. Oh, I'm going to give up first-round pick to get Chase Young or to Montez Sweat or whatever. No, but at least attempt to make a phone call, at least to see if it's possible. Because we need help right now on that edge. And we do need help at the cornerback position, for sure, and I agree. I know a lot of people out there would like to get Patrick Surtain. I just don't see it happening. You're going to have to you would have to give up 2 first-round picks. Don't see it happening. And I don't even think that Denver trades them because he's a young corner. Could we get like a Dory Jackson or something like that? Yeah, it's possible, and I think it would be nice, right? So you have somebody to back up there if Jerry Jacobs goes down, so you don't have Will Harris out there on an island getting destroyed repeatedly. And we've seen what happens when you put Will Harris on an island. Okay, it's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good.
No,
Will Harris Island is not good.
It's the seven levels of purgatory all in one. You were making Bible references as well earlier, so I thought I'd step the game up. But the way I look at it, everyone says pass rush and secondary. I got to look at how they're like formed, the units at the minute. What are we missing in the pass rush? We're missing a veteran. Our 2 veterans, Charles and Romeo, they were meant to be the veteran guys there. Neither of them are delivering like consistent good performances. You need another veteran in there, maybe someone who's a little older than Aidan to come in, take charge of the room and be there. At corner, we need to rebuild that room through the draft. You know, it's miles away yet, but round 1 next year feels like corner time, and start rebuilding that room through the draft because we've got a veteran in there. We've got Cam Sutton. You know, we've got Jerry who's in there, who's experienced as well. And in the edge room, we've got Josh Pascal, we've got James Houston, a lot of young talent who we can develop, providing we've got the starters there who we can develop them behind. So I'd rather go and trade for the vet guy on in the edge room. At the corner room, you know, when Jerry's back, Will Harris doesn't have a job. So hopefully we just have to stick with it that way. They'll stick with him, they'll not get rid of him. So yeah, I would prioritize edge over corner just for now. I think you've got to, have someone who's going to be here for a long time to come.
And look, if you get that edge rusher, it's going to help out your corners. You know, they're not going to be. You're not going to have Lamar Jackson 10 seconds in the pocket, because if you give any quarterback 10 seconds in the pocket, they're going to pick you apart. I mean, that's just ridiculous. That's a ridiculous amount of time to stand in the pocket and throw a football. That is just. It's nuts, but that's what happened. And so if you get another pass rusher, then that will help out as well. And I think it'll put confidence back in a lot of Lions fans. It would put confidence, I think, in the defensive room to get another player, like I said, a veteran that can get the job done. Really important. Really, really important. Like I said, I'm not looking for these games. We need a pass rusher to face the Raiders. No. We need a pass rusher to face the Bears. No, it's the Philadelphia Eagles and the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. All right, the Lions, in my opinion, are going to win the NFC North. You're going to host a playoff game. And we have to win the playoff game. If we host a playoff game, we got to win. Do you think this season would be a throwaway if we host a playoff game and lose it? I do. I would be pissed off if that happened.
I would be pissed. But for me, like I've said from the beginning, this is a toppling domino process. The first domino we've got to topple this year is to win the NFC North. We've never done it, like ever.
Ever.
And that is the first domino on the chain towards the Super Bowl. So that is my bare minimum this year. If we can win the NFC North, then no matter how anything goes after, deep down at the lowest levels, I'll be satisfied. Because we've won that and we've got that bugbear out the way. Then it's about going on to playoff games and winning. But we will have a home game, and we are a lot better at home. And if we're facing a 6th seed or something like that, it's going to be, we've seen the Falcons have been in there a few weeks now, and it's like, I would expect to beat them at home. We've done it once already. We absolutely throttled them. It might be an NFC South team. I would expect us to do it again. So I would be disappointed if we can't. But if I just want to win the NFC North first, that's all I want this year. Win that, get that out the way, and then aim even higher. But just with the trade stuff, it's like I said on Dan Stream just gone, we've just got to make sure that this team, if we're going to trade the assets away, you really got to believe that this team can go head-to-head with the Eagles and the 49ers now, because you can't disrupt the process of building through the draft too early,
100%.
get too many assets thrown away, and then sort of hinder your ability to keep building through the draft. So that's why if I'm trading, I'm waiting until after the Raiders game, because I just want to see how this team is going to act. Because if we lose to the Raiders, and it could happen, then it's like, I'm not trading for anybody, because I know this team, it's benefiting from a bad division, a bad NFC North, and we're not quite close yet. And I don't want to get rid of my assets just yet. So we've got to be careful.
Yeah, and look, you don't have to make a trade until after the game, because you got your bye week, and then whoever that player is could acclimate to the scheme a little bit, get to know it a little bit more. You got a whole week there to get it done, and it's the Raiders. Let's keep it 100. The Lions are heavy favorites to win this game. If they lose this game, we have more issues than edge. Okay, if we lose this game, there's a lot of issues going on with this football team that the trade deadline's not going to help. The Lions should win this game, and I'm not going to lie, man, they should win by double-digit points. So, yeah, we can wait to the trade till after the game, and it's perfect, right? You still have an opportunity to see, the players that you have on another game, and then you can go ahead, all right, this is what we need. Harris ain't the guy. Maybe we need to get a corner. Okay, this is what we need. Charles Harris is not getting it done. Romeo's not getting it done. We need to get an edge. And that's important for our team. And like you said, you don't want to just throw away draft picks, folks. That's a terrible idea. We do build through the draft, and that's very, very important that we consistently find talent, young talent in the draft. And so I don't want them to go out there and just give up all these draft picks. But if you got one you want to give up or do like a kind of a pick swap to get a player that's going to help you win now, I have absolutely no problem with that. Because like I've been saying, I do not believe all the draft picks next year is going to make the football team. And I really don't want to draft a player and then not make the football team, and that's a wasted draft pick. So, and like you said, we got 2 third-round draft picks right there. So you could still use one of those guys if you want to. If you get to 6 and 2, address something that can help you host and win a playoff game. Host and win a playoff game. There's players out there. I think it can happen. I mean, there's teams that are willing to trade players, and it definitely looks like the Commanders was one of those teams. And they got plethora of players on that defensive line. One of these guys I would love to have. I really don't care. As much as I like Chase Young, but I don't care, man. If you got Montez Sweat, just somebody else, just please, God, get some presence on that defensive line. It's irritating.
I want to see the reaction in the Raiders game, because that's going to be big for me. Because this is a high-pressure game now, and this season is all about establishing whether this team can deal with legitimate, genuine pressure, because that is what gets you to a Super Bowl. It doesn't matter how much talent you've got. If they wilt when the pressure's on, then it's no good. You don't go invest in assets into this team if they can't do it when it matters. On Monday Night Football, under the lights, you've just been hammered. The Vikings have just pulled off a win against the 49ers. They could soon start closing that gap. This is the pressure now of winning a conference. This is real pressure that this team has never had to deal with before. How are they going to deal with it? If they can come out and beat the Raiders on Monday Night Football, a team they are expected to beat, and they show that they can deal with it all, I am more inclined to put assets into it. Because like you said, if you get the first playoff win at home, then after that, form goes out the window, rules go out the window. It's any given Sunday. One game and you're in the championship game.
Yep.
And all it takes is for you to turn up one day and be at your best and the other team be a little bit low. So, again, it's all the mentality aspect here. You show me you can do that, I'm going to invest in this team. You show me you can't, that shows me this team is still too far away. It might win the NFC North, but it's probably not going to do it in the postseason if that's how it goes. So.
And I listened to a Vikings guy in the show we were just on. He said the Lions have no chance at a Super Bowl. I tell you what, right now, if the Lions were to have the number 1 seed, I don't care what team you're going against. The Lions have a chance to win those games. Okay, we nearly beat Philadelphia last year. Just because we got stomped on Sunday doesn't mean, well, automatically this team's the worst team in the NFL. It's not how the NFL works. You listen to players, it happens, okay? It happens. 49ers lost to the Vikings. I still think the 49ers are a damn good team. Okay, they're not no scrub team. So if you look at the schedule, the Lions have the ability to get that number 1 seed. So look, if you stomp the Raiders and you feel that there's an upgrade out there that you can get that's going to help this defense out, then go do it. Somebody in the chat says, "Why are you afraid to give up first-round picks?" I'm not afraid to give up first-round picks. Who are you going to give a first-round pick up for right now that's worthy of it? I'm not going to give Chase Young a first-round pick. And I like Chase Young a lot. I've been talking about wanting to get him. So I'm not going to give Patrick Surtain, you'd have to give up multiple first-round picks. And I'm not doing multiple first-round picks. Okay? I know how Brad Holmes can turn around and draft players. That's how you build your team. But a second-round pick, a late second, or a conditional or something like that for Chase Young, okay. But I'm not going to give up a first-round pick. Not going to do it. There's other plays out there. We hear Derrick Henry, right? With this, that would be sick, by the way.
It would, but you want him. You want him here when you're going to win. If we're trading for anyone now, they've got to be on this team for multiple years and be able to benefit for multiple years. So, again, But again, you mentioned the 49ers. That, for me, was a perfect encapsulation of why we shouldn't panic too much. The Vikings found their weakness, which was getting to Brock Purdy. Because all of us know that Brock Purdy is a bang-average quarterback. We all know that he's playing in a quarterback-friendly scheme that makes him look good. And you know what? For where he was drafted, he's done fantastic. But the Vikings found a way to stop. Them playing and make them look average. That's what the Ravens did to us. It happens, like you said, to every team in this league. Even the Eagles have been found out. You will have weeks where teams simply scheme you out of a game. So I'm not panicking too much after it. But the reaction to that is the big thing now.
Yeah, they're still a really good team, folks. 49ers a good team.
Yeah.
100%. But it shows that it's possible they can lose, right? But I tell you what, I wouldn't want to face the 49ers the next time they play. They're going to be pissed off too. But they can be had just like any team can be had. The Eagles can be had. The Kansas City Chiefs can be had. Their only loss is to what? The Detroit Lions. So any team can be had. That's the way it is. And also the other way around, right? A bad team could beat the Lions. The Raiders somehow could come out and be great. So we got to keep the foot on the pedal and continue to be the team that we are and beat the hell out of bad teams and turn around from that Ravens game. So it's just one game. I know a lot of people really overreacted to it. If you were to ask me what was the worst game this year, it's the Seattle game. Why? Because they're an NFC team. I would rather, you say the Baltimore is the worst game. No, it don't really affect the Lions too much when you look at seeding in the NFC, but that Seattle one does because you lost to an NFC team. So we just got to turn around, win the game on Monday night, take a break. And I don't know about you, man, but I think the players need a break. They're tired. They're exhausted. Coaches, everybody needs a little bit of a break. Beat up, sore. The bye could not come at a perfect time for this football team, Ant-Man.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so nice to have this bye now. Because you imagine if we'd had a week 4 bye again, and this was us going through to the end of the season now, we'd be in big trouble if we had an unending schedule till the end of the year now. And it's nice that we've got this Raiders game first, because we've got the chance to win, put that defeat behind us, and then have a nice big break, 6-2, get people back healthy, get problems with the system fixed, and then we've got an eminently winnable schedule after that. We're going to start getting to the NFC North teams who all look like garbage this year. So it is a perfect time, but only if we beat the Raiders. If we beat the Raiders, it would just be perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Oh, for sure, for sure. We're going to get to the mailbag in a second. But before we get to the mailbag, let me do a shout-out to the sponsor of today's show. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Love me some Prize Picks. The newest sponsor here at Chat Sports, prizepicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS. They will match your deposit match up to $100. And if you want to spice up your NFL Sunday, get started with Prize Picks right now. Prize Picks is a skill-based, real money, daily fantasy sports game, and if you're looking to have more fun on game day, look no further than Prize Picks. Want to play alongside some of Prize Picks' favorite players like rapper Meek Mill and comedian Andrew Schultz? You can now find community plays under the promos tab in the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in the Prize Picks community each week. Prize Picks even offers a reboot policy so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players get injured. For football, basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second half, the player is rebooted. Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. The three players that I got for this weekend for the NFL, I got Bryce Young getting more than 210.5, CJ Stroud getting more than 239.5, and Josh Allen get more than 263.5. So get started right now with Prize Picks. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS, for deposit match up to $100. Why is it code CLNS? Because that's our ad agency partner. Use code CLNS. It's real easy. 4 letters to get $100 match when you sign up. So download the app today, and the link will be in the description and comment section of this video. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS. Mailbag time. If you got questions, put hashtag Lions in the comment section. We will answer to literally anything. If you want to talk Lions, Raiders, you want to talk about trade deadline, you throw the question to us, and we will do our best to answer. Just hashtag Lions or hashtag anything. It's just so I can see it. I got a queue here, and the queue pops up quick. It's like, brrrah. And so when I see a hashtag, it opens my eye up. If I miss your question, it's not because I'm being a prick. It's because I missed your question and I'm 38 years old, and I'm not the greatest, fastest, smartest person on planet Earth. So that's it. I could care less what the questions are. Throw it in the comment section. Let's see. Big says, Goff not taking us to the next level. He has hit his peak. He may have hit his peak, but if he hit his peak right now, it's a pretty damn good peak. I mean, from a statistical standpoint, he's top 5 quarterback right now in all stats. So that's pretty good, and I do like it a lot. Y'all loving below-average quarterbacks. Why would you think we love below-average quarterbacks? I don't love below-average quarterbacks. I like Patrick Mahomes. I think he's awesome. I think he's a good quarterback. I think there's a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFL. But this is the quarterback that we got right now. So I'm going to root for the quarterback that we got right now, and that is Jared Goff. Let's see. Lions are rating the Raiders in Detroit. I would bet on it. Yeah, I think the Lions are going to... I'll do my prediction right now. I think I did a video, I think a 34-13 or something of that nature, 32-13. I'm going to tell you from my heart, I believe the Lions could score 40 on these guys. What do you got, Ant-Man?
See, I think we're going to suffer from nerves in this, and I think it's going to be closer than we think. I think it's going to be something along the lines of like 30-24 or something like that, because I think this team is reeling, and I think the Raiders are going to try and take advantage of that. And, this is new ground for us. We're still learning to win these games, and we're going to take some bumps along the way. So we'll win, but I think it'll be a score.
I hope you're incorrect, man, because I don't like doing the cardiac cath at the end of a game. I like to relax and chill a lot. That's much better than having your heart pound, for sure. Where is Brodric? He's on the sideline. That's where he's at right now. He hasn't played yet. That's because they trust everybody else ahead of him right now. And so I'd like to see Brodric Martin at some point on the field. When do you want to see Brodric Martin, Ant-Man?
When they think he's ready. I've said with this regime time and time again, the reason we've hit on so many of our draft picks is because they've been integrated into the team when they're ready. With some people, it was straight away. With some people, it was half a season. And, I don't mind, because I don't think the interior's actually been that bad. The run defense has been one of the best in the league, full stop. And Aleem's been getting good pressure. We've been getting a few sacks out of them. It's the edge room that's been letting us down. So I'm quite content for Brodric to train, to get ready to go in this system. And whenever they feel he's ready, then go for it. I would like to see him this year, though.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I do believe that the Baltimore Ravens won the coin toss, and they actually deferred. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I'm 30 today. Happy birthday, Taylor. Happy birthday to you. Lions are giving me a win for my birthday Monday Night Watch. Hey, that's what it's all about. Happy birthday, Taylor. I hope you get your present of a Lions victory because that's a present to us all, Lions fans. Lions 31-14. J-Mo gets 2 scores. Ooh, you talk that. That's a bold prediction. J-Mo getting 2 scores. That would slow down some of these, rants that people are having for the Lions. Let's see. Hashtag 216-0 Lions. Oh, my God. I don't even know if that's even humanly possible with time constraints, even if you were to score a touchdown like every other drive. Let's see, Mike, you don't think this team can finesse steal the Broncos, get Surtain? It happens all the time. I don't think so. I don't believe so because they like him. It's not that they're trying to get rid of Surtain. They want to keep Surtain. They've been very vocal about it that they're keeping him, so that's why I don't think they can get him for a first and a third. If they got him for a first and a third, that's called a winning all day long. Okay, that would be an epic trade.
I mean, where did they pick him? Like, it was top 10, wasn't it? Was
top
it 8th
10,
or
yeah.
something?
Yep.
They're going to get a first off us, which is liable to be in the late 20s. It's pretty bad value for a guy who's balled out and is on his rookie deal. Yeah. When you've spent the 8th overall pick on him and you're getting back, 25, 26 as a minimum, as like a most, really. And then a third. I don't know.
This question comes from the Dern. He says, what do you think about getting Jonathan Allen? You got upset over there for the Commanders. My thing is I really don't believe they're in talks for him because we haven't even played Brodric Martin yet. That's my thing here. Jonathan Allen would make the defense better, for sure. There's no doubt about it. But you drafted a guy, you traded up in the 3rd round to get him, and we still ain't seen him play, and he plays that position. So that would be my question there, but absolutely, he would be an upgrade on the defensive line. There's no doubt about it. I mean, if you get pressure up the middle, that really helps. It really does. And if you were to have him and Aleem McNeil out there, that would be cool. That would be really, really nice. So the Broncos just came out and said he's available. Send me that link. I want to see it. Rather trade for defensive tackle help than an edge. We have help there not so much at DT. But we do. We got a guy in Brodric Martin who hasn't played, Ant-Man. He just hasn't played yet.
Yeah, and, I don't think there's been a need for him to play. Genuinely, I don't think there's been a need yet.
I'm with you.
Because Brodric was brought in primarily to help against the run. That's what he's really good at. And the pass rush will come with it, like a Liam in a way. It'll take 2 or 3 years before you see the pass rush start to come through with him. And we've not needed him in the run game, so why not? Because he's got a lot of technical issues to sort out with his technique, his pad levels, all that sort of stuff. Just train him, get him ready in time. This is what we've done too much in the past, just thrown rookies in and sort of let them sink. I just like the way that they're going about it. And as for the edge room, we've got depth, but no one's producing. We're top of the league in pressures, and we're bottom 10 in sacks. It's all right saying we've got depth, but and I said this, I thought we were 7 deep at edge. But when you look at it realistically, Josh is just coming off injury. Neither of the vets are producing. Houston's out injured. Julian's just been Julian and doing nothing. We don't have any quality depth there. We got depth as in players, but we don't have quality depth. We need a 1B to go with the 1A, which is Aidan. And then when you've got Houston and Pascal and guys like that behind, then the situation becomes better. But we don't have anyone opposite Aidan at the minute. I mean, Kamish has gone off the boil a bit as well when it comes to the pass rush. So, we got depth, but we don't have production. We need production in there somewhere. It's got to come.
Yeah, 100%. Like, we got depth, but we don't have that other guy. You need to have that other guy. When do we start getting J-Mo involved in the offense? Well, we should be getting him involved as of late, but he's not. The problem with J-Mo right now, and he's got to catch the football. I just don't think there's a lot of trust there with Jared Goff and him. I want to see J-Mo involved. I want to see him get the football more, but it's hard for the Lions to do that when you're throwing the football to a guy named Josh Reynolds who catches everything, Khalif Freeman who catches everything, St. Brown who catches everything. That's good. I mean, Baltimore was by far the worst game. What has more effect, Dr. Clappencheeks, what has more effect on the Detroit Lions season this year? Losing to an NFC team or losing to an AFC team? What has more effect in the long term of getting seeding? Is it losing to the Ravens, who's AFC, even though it was a bad outing? Or is it losing to a Seattle team who's in the NFC, who's in the running for the playoffs in the NFC as well? It is clearly the Seattle game. That's why you don't want to lose to NFC teams. It's the tiebreakers. It's all of that stuff. We're sitting at the 2nd seed right now because the 49ers just lost to the Vikings, an NFC team. So it pushed us up. So losing to NFC is worse than losing to AFC. That's why it was a worse game. Not because of the play in the field.
I prefer to get my ass kicked than to punch myself in the nads. You know, we got our ass kicked by Baltimore. We punched ourselves in the nads against Seattle, and that was worse. If you're going to lose, then lose convincingly. Don't lose like you did to the Seahawks. That was all our own doing. That's why, for me, we take the NFC and AFC out of it. That was much worse because that shouldn't have happened. The Baltimore game, we were just bad, and it did happen, and there's nothing we could have done about it.
It happened. But if it was to happen, I'm happy. I'm glad it happened to an AFC team. That's it. If it happened to NFC, it's worse. We need a consistent running back if we want to win the playoffs. I hope Monty can stay healthy. It's just I don't think he's not an injury-prone player. He just got some bad hits right there. But I'm with you. We need him to stay healthy for sure because he is such a pounder. And I don't think he's playing on Monday Night Football, but we'll see him probably after the bye week for the Chargers game. But he is a difference maker, Ant-Man. How good that Montgomery just is a bruiser for this offense.
And it doesn't help that the depth behind him has taken a massive injury hit as well. Like, we've lost Mo Ibrahim twice. We've lost Jahmyr Gibbs. You know, everyone we've brought in to be depth, we've lost to injury. So it kind of makes his injury even more noticeable because we've just not had anyone in there to help afterwards. So I agree. He's very tough for this league. He doesn't miss much time, and I think genuinely, if they said to him, "Look, do you want to go out and play?" he'd say yes, and he'd go out there. They've got to look after him. I mean, if it means waiting until after the bye, fine. There are loads of games after the bye, and we need him to be healthy for those. So, it's just been sensible with him. And I mean, this is allowing Jahmyr to develop in his absence as well. So
yeah, and
I'm not concerned about Monty. I'm not concerned about Monty. It was a dirty hit by another player. It wasn't. He just didn't break down. It was preventable. So,
he's a tough SOB. I'm not worried about that stuff. Smashed a hole, not like the Swift situation. My takes is this: grab Derrick Henry and Brian Burns, move Gibbs out to receiver, and then 1 or 2 punch Henry and Demo. Well, Henry and Montgomery are very similar type of backs, and you don't draft a running back at pick 12 to just make him a receiver. So he's going to be playing the running back position. Well, I love Derrick Henry. Yeah, I would. I think he'd be fire. Brian Burns is absolutely a baller as well.
Panthers have said no. The Panthers are not trading.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Last year they said no to 2 firsts and a third from the Rams.
From the Rams.
Yeah. So I think they should have
come out and said no this year.
That was a mistake by the Panthers not trading him last year, by the way. 2 firsts and a third? Come on, man. Do you think we will keep our spot in the NFC in the first place? Go Lions. In the NFC first place, it's going to come down to the end of the season because the Philadelphia Eagles and the 49ers got a tough schedule, and they actually play each other. So it depends. Look, the Lions are in the running for it. Are they going to get it? I don't know. But they're absolutely in the running for it, 100%. So we just got to keep winning, and that's what it's all about, and not lose, not especially in NFC. Do you think that we should try to resign C.J. Gardner-Johnson this offseason? I get asked this every week. I love C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I would attempt to. I don't know if they will because we got Brian Branch. We got players whom we've drafted in Kirby Joseph. So we'll see. I would like to. I don't know if they do. I really don't know. Stop with the hate on Goff. Yeah, I don't know what is going on with the hate with Jared Goff. I'm no Goff lover, no hater, but man, after one loss, everyone's coming out and say they got to trade this guy. He's Jesus Christ, man.
This is This is his first bad game in a calendar year. How many quarterbacks go a full calendar year without having like anything that resembles a bad game? That is the level of which we're talking about here. He has been consistently good for a year now. You
Yeah.
can't go after him after one performance, and it's not against the
live
ethos
right
of
now,
the
so
team
what is it?
either. So if you just
Yeah.
abandon Goff after one game, you're sending out completely the wrong message to your team that one game you're done, you're
Okay.
bad, and
Possibly,
you're
but
out.
I'm
It's
live right
not
now.
right. But Goff has played well. If he starts doing this 2 or 3 times in a row and then he's consistently bad, then we might have an issue. But he's had one bad game in a year. There are very few quarterbacks in this league who can say they've done the same. So no, don't abandon him. You've built this rebuild around him. You don't chuck him to the wayside afterwards. We can win playoff games and the Super Bowl with Jared Goff, and if you think otherwise, then you're entitled to that. But we
But
can.
if
I
we
know
find
we
a better
can.
quarterback, then you get better quarterback. But if you can't find a better
Yeah.
quarterback, you can't. I mean, I'm
What,
always
what are you going to
upgrading
do?
the roster. I could care less what position
Yeah.
it is. But right now, there's no upgrade. So he's
Yeah. What are we
so
going to do? Draft someone at 26 next year? Because there ain't no one who's going to be better than him in the back end of the first round next year. And who's going onto the free agency market? Nobody.
we need to get to we talk about the late 20 pick that we get or whatever. It's to me, it's got to be edge, corner, or guard. One of those
Corner.
positions.
Yeah.
Because what do you guys expect when your line can't block to give him time to do something? And the line was terrible on the Baltimore game. It's like everybody gave up. The whole team sucked. Everybody sucked. From the punters, the kickers, to the cheerleaders, to Rory. This is just a S show. And you just got to put that game behind you. So I'm not going to pinpoint on one person because they all sucked. Will Hooker be better eventually? Will Hooker be better eventually? Hendon Hooker? I don't, it depends on his development. I love Hendon Hooker. I love that we drafted him, but don't know, right? You never know with these quarterbacks. Sometimes you draft them and they end up being busts, or sometimes you get a guy and end up being great. So we'll see the development as the years goes along, but Jared Goff's the quarterback right now. He is. The Ravens want King Henry, and oh my God, that would make your team scary. Good God. That'd make your team scary. You got Henry over there with your run game. Whew. That would make your team. I already think you guys are a Super Bowl contender. I've been saying that for a while, and that would really kind of put a stake in that. Football is a team sport, and the offensive line played bad as well as every other position, including coaches, not just Goff. Stop. Yep, everybody played bad. Everybody gets an F. Jahmyr Gibbs was the best player on the team on that game, and it was kind of in garbage time. So, I mean, it was just an S show from top to bottom. So I'm not going to pinpoint one person. I could pinpoint everybody in that game. Decker sucked.
You've got to take facts into consideration. We are 5-2. We've beaten the Chiefs at Arrowhead. We've beaten the Packers at Lambeau. And, we've had an any given Sunday handed out to us. You've got to wait and see what the reaction from this team is yet before you start going all hyperbolic. We've seen what this team can do. We've seen how good the offense is. We've seen how good the defense can be. We've seen how good our coaches are. We know these things. You can't just dismiss it all because of one bad game. It's the same with Goff. You can't just dismiss Goff because of one bad game. If in a month's time it's still happening, then it's like, actually, we
100%.
might have an issue. But right now, you've got to keep the hyperbole out and wait till this Raiders game. This Raiders game will answer so many questions that we have right now and might make us look silly if we rush to big conclusions right now.
Yeah, not a lot. I call them same old Lions fans. They weren't out when the Lions are winning, but when they lose, they come out. But they're very silent when you're winning.
They got the double whammy, didn't they? Goff and the loss. Goff playing not great, and the loss.
There's people that there's Lions fans that simply root against the team, and it's the weirdest damn thing. Like, I never want to root against the team. Like, I want them to win. I want them all to win. Are they going to do that? No, it's not going to happen. Yes, the game sucked. Let's move on. How many touchdowns Jamal will have this week? I'll go one. I'll say that he gets a touchdown in this game somehow, some way. What about you, man?
I want him to have like 2 or 3. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of it, Mike. There are people who, after 5 years, defend Will Harris of substandard, shoddy secondary play, and who will go to bat for him. He's had 5 years.
5 years
JMO's
is
not
crap.
even had a season and a half. He's not even had a season and a half, and people are ready. Trade him, get rid, bust. Just shut up. Really, please. Give him time. He didn't have much time last year. He's not had that many snaps this year. Yes, he's having issues with drops. Yes, he's having trouble with his connection with Goff. But everybody forgets that Amon-Ra St. Brown took the better part of the season of continually playing football until he finally found his groove with Goff. It takes time. And we've seen that it can work in small sample sizes. So please, just give him
players
the
3
season.
years. Yeah, 3 years
I do.
after being
3
drafted.
years for everybody.
Derek Barnes is a clear
everybody.
example. Who's a
Yeah.
stud this year? Derek Barnes. What year is he on? Year 3. Sometimes it just takes players a little bit of time to learn the system. Ben Johnson needs to start putting J-Mo and Gibbs in better positions since everyone thinks he's an offensive mastermind. I could see situations where he could do a better job. No, I concur. I think he can always do better. I think he does a pretty good job, but you can always do better to get those players in positions to succeed. I agree. Man, do something to get these guys' confidence going, man. Jet sweep, something, a screen, wide receiver screen with J-Mo. He's got speed. You know, there's things that you can do out there to get it done. Same people defending Okuda, who said the same lame crap, is now defending J-Mo the same way. It's hilarious. Who's defending? You give a player 3 years. 3 years.
And Okuda was hurt for
And
his,
if you can't figure it out after 3 years, okay, I'm good to go. I'm done with the garbage. But I'm not giving a guy just 1 year. You know how many people would be pissed off if we were to release Derek Barnes and he goes to another team and balls out there? You know how many people would be angry about that?
Okuda's doing all right this year, and I'm glad he's doing all right. You know, it just didn't work in the end, but he got 3 years. That's more than reasonable. We're not going back to the Deshaun Hand days where we gave them 5 years and they were clearly not good or healthy enough and went there. So no, he's not a bust. Get the hell out of here with this sort of stuff. I'm done with people who are just going to give up on him. He was injured all last year. It takes time. It does. If he doesn't do it for the rest of this year, and year 2's done, then you have serious reservations. And 2 years, even that feels a bit soon, but you would. These are realistic expectations.
Could he be a bust? He could. He absolutely could. But I'm going to give him 3. I give him 3 years from any player that we draft. I give the player 3 years. If he's still sucking, still dropping footballs in year 3, okay, get rid of him. Like, I'm not playing around with that. I'm tired of the drops. But I'm going to give a player 3 years.
What player's going to want to come here if they know the fans are going to turn on him after a year? Oh, I've not been good for a year. Oh, well, the fans hate you now.
Same people said Aidan Hutchinson was a bust last year after the 2 games. Like, come on, you guys got to slow down. Some people they learn differently. You know, not everyone's Sam Laporta and Ndamukong Suh that comes out, or Brian Branch that just comes out explosive. I love it. I absolutely love when they do, but not everybody's going to be like that. We'll be watching the Lions. Yeah, for sure, man. I hope we get that win. We need that win for sure. We need that win for sure. Lions got till Sunday to make a deal. It's actually till Tuesday at 4 p.m. So it's Halloween. 4 p.m. is the time. We got a $5.99 super chat. Thanks so much for that super chat, my man. And man, I just noticed that we don't have 100 likes. Smash that like button. Let's get to 100 likes right there. $5 super from Thomas Leach. I'd like to see the Lions trade for another edge rusher to bookend with Hutchinson, and I 100% agree with you. Absolutely agree with you. I think that would be a fantastic move, depending on the compensation, not doing it just for anything, but depending on that compensation, I agree. I think a lot of people can agree with that. You know, you're watching this, it feels like one player can really make this team a decent defense to a really good defense. It really can, because it opens up for everybody else. Young or Sweat is my prediction. That'd be really nice. I couldn't tell you, man. I don't know. You hear one side that says we are aggressive. You hear another side that says they're not. I have no idea. And it sucks that we have no idea. We'll find out Tuesday at 4 p.m. if something happens. I want something to happen. I do. Lions fans want this to happen. We really need it to happen. We need to get better. I want this team to win. Will the Lions get to devour the turducken? Oh, yeah, man. Look, the Lions going to beat the Packers in that game. The Packers, look, we didn't know what Jordan Love was going to be, but he ain't looking good. He ain't looking good at all. Now, y'all want to see some trash quarterback. You got one right there. You got a guy who is struggling right now. And they actually got some weapons offensively. They do. I like their receivers. They got a decent offensive line and run game. I think the Lions win that game. I mean, it's been a long time. What, 5 years since we won a Thanksgiving Day game? So we need it.
Getting close last year. Nearly beat the Bills last year. We're getting there.
Lions
I'm still yet
are
to try
posers.
the legend, which is to Duncan.
Lions are posed. They didn't say that when we beat the Buccaneers. They didn't say that when we beat Kansas City Chiefs. You only say that when you lose a game. We got to take every game into account, not just one game. But if you want to say they're posers, that's fine. Let's go ahead. Great.
Anyone would think we'd been blown out by like the Titans or something, like someone bad. This is not a bad team that we lost to. Like,
great team.
A lot of teams will lose to the Ravens this year.
Yeah, great team.
You know,
great team. And Lamar Jackson is a quarterback. He's not a running back, folks. The dude's a quarterback. All right, he's really good. Should the Lions trade away players instead of bringing them in? Well, there's one name that I heard, and I was told this a couple days ago. I didn't say it because I was asked not to say it, but since it was said yesterday, Malcolm Rodriguez could be a player they trade away. I was told that a couple days ago, not say anything, so maybe he gets traded away. Why? Because he's not getting snaps, and now he's a fullback. Oh, my God. So, yeah, it's interesting there. That's interesting there. But do I want them to be sellers? Not really. Because you never know when an injury happens. What if Derek Barnes gets injured out of nowhere? What if, Jack Campbell or Alex Anzalone gets injured? You have a guy that can help out. I know they like Jalen Reeves-Maybin, but I really don't want to be throwing away players because you just don't know what's going to happen.
I'd hate that.
Yeah, so would I.
Because he's a good special teamer as well. Jalen is sold on his special teams, but Malcolm plays great special teams. He's a second-year rookie.
Like, we had a great second year. I said the Lions had one of the best, right? And then injuries happened. And it just completely depleted that. And so you don't know if an injury is going to happen. I don't want it to happen, but you just don't know. Is Chase Young worth third-round pick? Yes. In my opinion, he's worth a third-round pick. I think he'll go for a second-round pick. I think if he gets traded, that's what it will be. Let's see. I hated the Justin Tucker kicking that 60. Yeah, that was a soul killer right there. I think Detroit trades away Charles Harris. That would be an interesting move. I mean, he didn't play this last week. If they were to trade him away, it'd probably be because you're getting a player too, an edge rusher. So it'd be part of the package. I don't think they'd just trade him away to trade him away. I think it would have to be part of getting a player in return as well. Lions are, man, answer this, but if the Lions make a trade with Washington Sweater Young, assuming Washington gives us Fuller. Man, that'd be interesting, right? What would you think about getting Fuller at, man?
I mean, we need a corner. I mean, if we're going to get two of them, then great. But I've sort of already said this. I think, we need a vet on edge more than we need a vet at corner for me. We need to rebuild the corner room through the draft. I mean, if you're going to get Fuller, great. You got a good tandem pair in there. But if we're going to nick one, I'd rather go the D-line first because we know that's a productive system that produces great players. And I would really, really like one of them, quite frankly. I'd love Montez Sweat. So, personal preference, I'd love Sweat over Fuller. But, hey, if we get Kendall Fuller, I ain't going to complain. You'll be a good player on this team. You'll be a great player on this team.
Any chance they trade Joe? Are you talking about Jamison Williams? I don't know.
Julian.
Julian Aquara?
Julian.
Oh, like I said,
he'll be trade bait.
He could be trade bait if the Lions are getting a player.
If Chase Young or Montez Sweat came here, give them a third and Julian. That would be a perfect deal because they still might be able to resurrect Julian's career. Because he's a younger player who could still come to fruition. It's just not going to happen here, unfortunately. But I fully expect him to be trade bait with picks.
He could be, but I think it would be in return you get a player, not just trading him away, just trade him away. I think you'd have.
Oh no, he'll be part of a deal coming in.
Yeah, part of a deal. Yeah,
he'll be a player on picks. He'll be a player on picks deal for another player.
Jonathan Allen, 7.5 sacks in 22, 9 sacks in 21. DT push with up front. Yeah, Jonathan Allen's he's a really good player. He's absolutely really good, and he's tired of being over there for a team that's losing. He would look if the Lions were to trade for him, absolutely would be an upgrade. I don't think they're going to do it because Brodric Martin hasn't played yet. That's my personal belief. If they do it, I would be happy. Will Harris makes my bowels move every time I see him on the field. Oh, man, every time. I just don't understand it. You know, this guy has somehow made this roster this long. He's made 2 decent games out of 5 years. That's really it. But we'll see, man. Like, if he's here, I want him to succeed so damn bad, but it's just not happening. He's just shown that he cannot be he's not good. He's just not.
Yeah.
It's just not good.
I've not said a word about him on our podcast this year. I'm just leaving it, and I'm like, right, see what happens. But he's here because he's on a team-friendly deal, because he's on that vet reduction thing where he counts for like 1.1 million when we're paying him $2.5 million, and he's here because he's versatile in positions. But you know, if Gardner Johnson was healthy, I don't think we'd be seeing any of him at all.
Yeah. Oh, 100% you want to be seeing him. That's absolutely. That's what I was saying. That's why you don't probably want to trade Rodriguez, because right now we're good, right? He's not being used, but what if there is injuries? Then you're in a position like we are with the secondary, and it's a bad position. If the Lions don't make a big trade, that really means the general manager doesn't really want to win. No, not at all. There's many reasons if a trade doesn't happen. First, maybe the compensation, they're talking, and the Lions weren't willing to give up something more, or the team doesn't really want to trade. Doesn't really mean it. You'd have to hear. Also, they could be confident in the team that they have. That's another thing. Even though we may not be confident, maybe they are confident in Stephen Gilmore, which I do like Stephen Gilmore. Maybe they are confident that an edge rusher could start to come back like a James Houston back from injury. Doesn't mean that they don't believe it. I just want it. Yeah. I don't believe that, this team, it'd be better if we didn't make a trade.
No. If we don't make a big trade, it is because Brad Holmes doesn't think we are close enough to the Super Bowl yet to warrant it. And that is a position I can 100% get behind. Because we're in a weak division, we're on a second-place schedule, when it's not been... We've had a lot of easier teams on so far. So I trust Brad. If he doesn't make a pick, he doesn't think we're there yet, and that's fine. Keep building through the draft for sustained long-term success. Don't throw away all your picks now. Don't shoot your load too early, as they say.
That's happened sometimes, I ain't gonna lie. Hashtag FGB, I love JG, but I really think... Thank you for the $20 super chat, by the way. Mike McCall is an absolute real one. He does this every single time. I really think it will hurt our cap to sign him to $50 million. Thoughts. Contract. Now, I like how you said that there. Now, if you're talking about, look, Jared Goff's contract, if he was to get re-signed, could hurt the team for long-term because of the cap situation, I agree. And that's what that Daniel Jones contract pissed me off. It did, because it does. But we'll see. I do think he's going to get re-signed. I'm telling you right now, I do believe he gets re-signed, and it's going to be a significant amount of money. But if you're one of those individuals, that's a great argument. I'm not going to say that argument is not founded, because it does. Like, I think quarterback contracts hurt all teams. When you get these giant contracts, you can't. I mean, look at the Giants. They signed this guy Daniel Jones. I think is the stupidest decision that franchise made in a long time, and their team sucks. All right, you got Tyrod Taylor coming in there, and I think is probably better than Daniel Jones. So I agree with that. We'll see when the contract. I do think he's going to get extended. When it happens, we'll see what it is. But that is a legit argument about contracts for quarterbacks and ruining the team, man.
See, for me, everyone thinks that. Everyone thinks that Brad and Dan are just completely madly in love with him, and like they'll do anything for him. And while it's true, they've backed him since he's come in. They've done the very simple thing of bringing in a quarterback and backing him to the hilt while he's been here. And I think people think that because of that, they're going to give him some big, fat 5-6 year deal where he's earning $50 million a year and he's going to get a big deal. Brad, as much as Brad and Dan will love Jared, they will make the decision best for the team. And it would not surprise me if the deal came and it was a la what Geno Smith is getting with the Seahawks. He's on
That'd be
3
great.
years, but they have front-loaded the hell out of it. Like, they're paying him most of his money in the first 2 years. And the great thing about our squad, we've got a lot of rookies who are going to get paid, but you front-load their deals while they're cheap. So we can have the big quarterback hit now in our next couple of years. Goff gets 2 years, and if he sucks, you can get rid of him after a few years. You're not putting the long-term success of this team at doubt. You are in a position where you can afford to pay more now and then still be all right afterwards. So I think it'll be a shorter deal with a lot of money, but doesn't affect our long-term success. So for me, I'm not concerned because we have a lot of cap coming up. And like I said, the rookie deals, we can structure them so they don't hit till after Goff's gone. No one, the team is not at risk. And
yeah,
I think that's what
I think he'll get a 3-year extension. That'd be to 5 years, right? So he'd be 34 years old when it comes up. But just like you said, how they put it with the finances, if he wasn't to play well, they can do that. Look, guys, if you're a Goff hater out there, find me a quarterback that's better that the Lions can get. Just saying that he's trash is not doing anything. If there's a quarterback out there that's better, I'm always looking to upgrade. I'm looking to upgrade any position. But right now, he's great. He's doing exactly what we want him to do. Did he have a bad game? The Ravens? Hell yeah, he did. So did everybody else. So did the 52 other players on the team. If you're going to call Goff trash after that game, you need to call every other player that played trash. Penei Sewell played bad in that game. Is he trash? I don't think he's trash. Taylor Decker played in that game. Is he trash? I don't think he's trash. St. Brown had a bunch of drops in that game. Does that make him trash? I don't think it makes him trash. So, if we're going to call Goff out for that game, which I have no problem doing, we got to call out everybody who played in that game out because they all sucked. And the passes Goff threw was bad. They were ducks. And the wind was carrying the football. But so does everybody else played in there. We got to be fair on this. We got to be fair. Like I said, I'm not a Goff lover nor hater. Always been that way, always will be. I'm a fan of the team first. I want the team to succeed, and that's it. I have no other agenda beside that. Hendon Hooker, a wasted pick? Absolutely not a wasted pick. I think it was a great pick. Right now, you're going to have a guy who's going to be our backup on a cheap deal for years. We had to pay Teddy Bridgewater some money to be our backup, and that hurts the cap a little bit, right, if you want to get a player. But now you got a third-round pick quarterback who's going to be who's contracted for 4 years on a cheap deal, who's a good backup quarterback. I think Hendon Hooker's great. I loved him in the draft. So that saves money, and I love it. So it's not a wasted pick. It's a great pick. Great pick for the Detroit Lions. If Jared Goff goes down, now, I don't think a lot of people's going to be too worried. Like if he would have went down last year, we're freaking out, right? He goes down this year, well, you do got Bridgewater and you got Hendon Hooker back there. So it's like, you can still win games. You can still do it. No doubt. A lot of people, man, I tell you what, we got to wait for this game. I cannot wait for this game to happen on Monday Night Football because the negativity after the Ravens game just went up tenfold. And I'm ready for that to be over. I'm ready for the Detroit Lions to not have as much negativity that's been taking place. Man, I need some more positivity in my life.
Yeah, and it's you're on the cusp. This is you see how the fans are reacting. Like players will be similar. Players will be like, "Damn, we've not been here before, and there's a lot going on." But if you'd have said at the start of the season, theoretically, if we were in the Raiders game, if you'd have said we're 6-2 at the bye. Every Lions fan in existence would have snapped your hand off.
I would have loved it. 6-2 at the bye? Hell yeah.
That 97.1 might have cried, but, apart from that, the other 99.999% of us.
I got to give credit to Mike Valenti. Mike Valenti has been on the side of the Lions. Now, Rico, on the other hand, here we go, the negativity, but Mike Valenti's actually the opposite. But if you said 6-2 at the bye, I think a lot of Lions would be happy. I think that's what the record's going to be at, man. It's going to be 6-2. Going to the bye week, they can rest up. They can chill out. Get healthy, and get their mind straight, man. Like, I don't know, just even as a content creator, like, I'm exhausted. Like, I need a bye week. I'm exhausted.
I'm having a lot more. I'm having a lot more fun. I've not even looked at the draft still yet, and it's like, oh my god, we've reached halfway through the season, and I'm just not even looking at the draft. I'm
starting to.
It's the first time in forever. This is why, when everyone said in like years past, they're like, oh, you're negative, you've been miserable, and that's like, we don't want to lose. We want this. It makes the shows so much more fun to have this around, and that's what the negativity's done this week. It's sort of dampened it again. It's like, no, come on, just see what you've seen. When did the team last do this? When did it last? When was it last in such a dominant position this far in the season? It's
2011.
Like, we're way ahead of.
That was it.
Yeah, we might win. Jared Goff is taking us to the playoffs. Who would have thought that when he came here 2 years ago? Nobody. We are surpassing expectations, and we're just having to learn to deal with it. But see what you see. You see more good, far more than bad.
I gotta ask Lions fans, even the ones that are upset. Do you think the Lions make the playoffs? Do you think the Lions win the NFC North? I think there's gonna be a lot of whys in the comment section if you do that. That's pretty good then. You should be pretty damn happy about that. I think they win the NFC North. Pretty damn happy about that. Now, I want them to win a playoff game. I want them to host and win a playoff game. But the trajectory is great. I am happy. Are we perfect? This team is absolutely not perfect. Nope. But it's a pretty damn good football team. And I'm proud to be a Detroit Lions fan. I love going out to the stores and seeing all these Lions jerseys on. And you got little kids and adults wearing it because the Lions are a good team. And it's really good to see. We ain't perfect. That's for damn sure. But maybe the trade deadline would get a little bit better, right? Get a little close to that perfect. But we've been on for more than an hour, and all their whys. 313 says, we're not. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to hold you to this. You're going to go right over my face. We're not going to go to the playoffs with Goff. I'm holding you to this. If the Lions make the playoffs, because you're in front of me right now, then you need to eat crow, okay? If the Lions don't make the playoffs, I will eat crow on my channel. I'll eat crow. But if the Lions make the playoffs this year, you need to eat crow. Because the odds of them making the playoffs right now, I think it's like at 98%. Like, come on, man. We've beat, even if we weren't to win the NFC North, right? We've beat all the other teams that would be in that contention for a wild card spot, besides the Seattle Seahawks. Falcons, we beat them, so we have the tiebreaker. The Carolina Panthers, they're definitely not in it, right? But Buccaneers, they're in for it. And we're facing the Minnesota Vikings, and I think a lot of us can say we're at least going to beat them one time this year. So if we don't make the playoffs, I'll be the first one to eat crow, and I will call for heads. But if we do make the playoffs, the people that said that we didn't, you got to eat crow as well. Just be happy. Good, for God's sakes, man. Like, jeez.
We want this. we don't want to be at 1. We don't want to be at 1-6. This time last year we were at 1-6, and I think I just had a real big strop on our part, and I was mad, I was angry, and I was ready to. I just hated it. I hated everything about it. And this year, I love it. I absolutely love it to death. We are in such a good season. You've just got to look at the big picture here. Yeah, we've been smacked in the mouth. This team, when it gets smacked in the mouth, stands right back up and smacks the next guy in the mouth.
And that's what we gotta do. We gotta do a little bit of smacking, we gotta do smacking and cheek clapping. That's what we gotta be doing here. And hopefully we do it on Monday. Are you gonna be live for the game, doing play-by-play on your channel on Roar the Lions UK, man?
Matt and Ash do that. Okay. Not me personally, but our guys will be doing that.
Check them out on Roar the Lions UK while the game's going live. Play-by-play commentary. They're reacting to what's taking place. I'm going to be live on my channel as well. Go enjoy them. Watch them as well. You don't have to be sitting on mine the whole time unless you want to. There's other people doing it, and to see a different perspective. Appreciate everybody hanging out, even the fans that are a little bit upset that we took that L. Hey, we want the Lions to win. That's it. With that said, folks,
searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it, and I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. Just want a life that is worth every day exploring. My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna